a video I did previously on wealth eroders. And the number one wealth eroder is divorce. So let's talk divorce. Brutal, right? Especially when you're the one left at home with a 1 and 3-year-old, no job, because you were busy, building a life. Then, bam, he wants out and you need a lawyer. Great. Except guess who also needs a lawyer when the funding disappears overnight? That's right, you're stuck, scrambling to feed and diaper your kids during a custody battle that feels like a war zone. Yes, I went through social assistance, fighting tooth and nail for support, even having to threaten criminal activity just to get a fair deal. After divorce, 10 months, no child support. Back on assistance again, then dragged into court for what felt like the 100th time. And enough was enough. This video is for all you out there who deserve better, who shouldn't be left feeling like a victim in your own divorce. Don't get screwed. Let's talk about building a strong foundation for your divorce, how to be sniper-like in your moves, protect your kids, and get that fair deal. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Sandra-Carlisle, chartered financial consultant, chartered advisor in philanthropy, life insurance agent, and this was my story. Right before I was in the position of being asked for a divorce, all of my financial insecurities licenses had expired. I had taken, with agreement, the time away from my work in order to raise kids. And that was supposed to be the end of my financial career. Well, little did I know. So, yeah, I was pretty much left with nothing. So let's dive into this. Let me give you some pointers on how to get through a contentious divorce. And again, get a fair deal. And, make sure that you have what you need to take care of your children. So number one, the biggest mistake most people make is that you're angry. And you have every right to be angry, but it's not going to get you what you want. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to come out financially sound? Because it doesn't matter who's right. The courts don't care who's right. The courts just want to split the money down the middle and, make sure that, there's funding to take care of the children. That's it. They don't care about all the other stuff. Get angry with your friends, let it out however you have to. Make a plan. Get a good attorney, especially if it's a contentious divorce. Get an attorney who has experience in difficult divorces. So staying calm is going to be your secret weapon, because you're not going to be triggered by all of the personal information and all the personal attacks that will come your way, because the other party is going to want to take you off your center and is going to want to cause chaos and throw you off so that you make mistakes. Also, they're going to do this to exhaust you until you're at the point where you just want to agree and give them everything that they want just so that it'll be over. And I know that feeling, because I know that feeling. It's really tough. But you got to fight for your family and for yourself. So besides not getting angry, what you need to start doing is, and if you could do it kind of secretly, just act like everything is normal and everything is fine, is get your financial picture together. Know exactly what is there. And if you need to do a forensic accounting, you need to get other people involved because you really don't know, or your soon-to-be ex owns a business, or, like again, in my situation, I wasn't working at all. So, where's the money? The money was coming from him until he changed bank accounts and took the money away, and then threw me and the kids on social assistance. So, you have to figure out where the money is coming from, and go ahead and have your angry cry and get it out. But figure out where your money is, and also figure out what you want, not only for your children, but for yourself, for your future. How are you going to get back on track? Like I explained, in my situation, I didn't have a job, nor did I have the licenses in the financial industry that I had previously that would allow me to get back at the status that I was. I had to totally recreate. So keep that in mind. Are you going to have to totally recreate yourself in order to survive? You're going to have to do some research. How much is it going to cost you to get re-educated? How much is it going to cost you to put a roof over your head, a different roof? These are all things that go into how much money are you going to need to survive. Also, take care of you. And in order to do that, find out who your real friends are. Because if you're going through a divorce with a narcissist, blasting your name and telling probably everyone that'll listen what a horrible person you are. So you're going to find out in all of that who your real friends are. And I can tell you from experience, you're going to lose people that you thought were your true friends. So I know you're like feeling, the fight or flight, cortisol, adrenaline. It's all natural. That's just what happens. So you really have to get yourself centered to know that you have to fight. And you have to stay and fight, because if you do the flight, you lose. You're not going to gain anything. So you have to fight, and you have to have a good attorney to help you through that. You also have to think strategically and act thoughtfully, which I can say I made that mistake. I went off in court a couple times. So that's not going to work. And the court, you have to also learn what the court rules are, or know what they are, or trust that your attorney knows the court rules and has been involved in a contentious divorce before. Because if you don't have a good lawyer, you're going to lose. And, I had a very nice lawyer. In fact, the only way I had finally gotten a financial package was by threatening to expose his illegal activities with a previous employer. That finally got him to sit down and agree to make a financial settlement. And it was months and months and months of dragging court on, dragging expenses on, back and forth conversations that were costly between lawyers, just to even get him to the table. This was something I hadn't brought up. So, think of those things, be strategic, and think of those things that can help move things along, because you know more about this person than they realize that you know. Sometimes you got to fight dirty. Also, on the child custody side of things, if you can't agree on child custody, which I was in that situation too, do not agree to go to a third-party psychiatric counselor. That was a huge mistake. Cost over $20,000, of which he used his retirement money or our retirement money to pay for. So that also came out of my pocket. $20,000. I still got primary custody. And he even fought me later on for custody when I moved to Pennsylvania for a job, because we were divorced in New Jersey, and I won. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you're on the right side, and when you're just caring for your kids and you're not looking to beat somebody up, you got everything on your side. So relax, know you're in the right, give them what they want in a way, because they're only wanting that to get to you. Like, my ex definitely knew that my children were my heart. I mean, I left my job for my children. I left my whole life to raise those children. So I'm going to go through some of the tactics. Let's just start with the financial tactics. Hiding assets is number one. Inflating expenses, controlling money, manipulating the child support, retirement funds, real estate, other property, child custody, where they're probably going to say they want all this time to see the kids, and they might do it for a few months, maybe even 6, maybe even a whole year. But if they haven't really been plugged in with the children, it fades, and that changes too. You'll have to go back to court for another settlement because you'll end up having the kids more often. Or you can, just go with it, because sometimes the headache of going to court is not worth the aggravation and the money. They'll try to, with the child custody, like I said, alienate you from the children, try to get the children to want to spend time with them. So they're going to be manipulating that, manipulating the visitation, canceling at the last minute, weaponizing the child support. So again, asking for more time so that they have to pay less. And then, for the future and present, there's medical and educational decisions to be made and expenses there. And also, because you're going to have to talk after court at least, how are you going to communicate? I suggest doing everything electronically, or where you can record conversations, and they actually have different apps that parents can use to co-parent their children. Because if you talk, they're only going to mess with your mind. Here are some of the communication tactics that you will experience. So there is circular communication, where nothing ever gets decided and nothing gets done. So this is why, if you stick with putting everything in writing, you can avoid a lot of those circular conversations. Also, triangulating with third parties. My lawyer said this one said that. Oh, your best friend told me this. Your friend told me that. Whatever they're saying, you don't know anything about it. A lot of these things are, to trigger you emotionally. There's also going to be different tactics to gain your sympathy, the court's sympathy, the kids' sympathy, everyone around's sympathy. So watch out for those. A defense to all of this is preparation. Be prepared. I'm telling you these things so that you can be prepared. Document all interactions. Get specialized legal counsel. Make sure, if you need witnesses, that there's witnesses. If there were restraining orders, make sure you have that. I didn't have a restraining order when I first got divorced, but I ended up getting a criminal assault conviction and a restraining order when I picked up my children and we were moving to Pennsylvania. It changed my life. It was like a breath of fresh air. As my friend said, I took one for the team. Sometimes, that wasn't something, I certainly didn't plan that. I didn't think that after 5 years of being divorced, I'd be punched in the face, but I was. And it actually, the silver lining is my life is so much better. It's nice and quiet. There's no, I'm practically drama free. Okay, on the emotional side of this, be prepared. There's going to be manipulating information in social media. There's going to be an assassination of your character, and you just have to prepare yourself. And just remember that it's only words, and the people who are believing those words didn't really know you in the first place. Because if they did know you, they wouldn't believe it. Just keep that in mind. Remember, the courtroom is going to be like a big stage where, your ex and you're being judged. Keep your emotions intact is the best I can say. I didn't really do a great job of that. I wish I had this video, but I was just so angry. I have to say, I was just so angry. The kids were so young, and that was like the one thing I never wanted. I never wanted to be a solo parent. I wanted my children to have a good family, in my mind, the life they deserved. And I wasn't exactly able to give them that full picture that I would have liked to give. They do seem to be pretty decent kids. So I think I did a good job in the long run. So when the dust settles and you're over the manipulation and you have something in writing and an agreement, don't be surprised if that agreement means nothing to them, because, they're higher than the law, they're better than anyone, and, and they will tell you that you're the one that's in contempt of court, when in reality, they're not sticking to the visitation schedule, they're not paying the child support the way they're supposed to, and all of these other things. And if your child support does end and that they stop paying it, don't go too crazy about going to court all the time, because, well, I guess I should tell you this. Definitely have your child support go through the courts. Do not trust that they say, oh no, I'm going to pay it. No, just have it go through the court. And then this way you don't have to worry about it. Because if they don't pay it, they lose their passport, they are on radar, that the courts are looking for them, and, they're tracking them down to get that money paid to you. So it will come your way. And then too, you've got better things to do. Raise your kids, get yourself back into the job scene, be an entrepreneur, whatever you need to do to get yourself some revenue coming into the household. So what they're doing isn't going to matter, because what you do is what's going to keep the roof over your head. When all the assets and everything is settled, make sure you change your beneficiaries. Take him off of everything and make sure that your beneficiaries are all up to date. Name a guardian for your children, and also a guardian of your assets, so that if you're giving your assets to your children, you name somebody else as the guardian to that, so that and you have peace of mind that your assets are going to be used properly to take care of them. That'll help. It certainly made me feel better. The more independent I got, my life just got more exciting, more fun, more adventurous, and more enjoyable. It's a lot easier. I set my own expectations. I live up to my own expectations. In conclusion, divorce is the most costly eroder of your financial situation. Choose wisely. And I would say to any young woman, find yourself first before you try to be with someone and build a life with someone else. Find exactly who you are and build your life first. And then that way you can combine the two and know what your strengths are, and realize that you're worth having someone have your back. If you have any questions, or if there's something else that you want to hear specifically on the subject of divorce and finances, leave your questions, leave comments, response below, and check out our next video on Everyday Penny.